Hello, everyone. Today we will do something a little different. We will remember one of my students, former students. Um, the person you see in this picture, his name was Timothy. I taught him several years ago. He was a very, very nice kid. He died a short time ago. He was going to be a junior in high school. This picture is from a couple of years ago, and I want to talk about him a little bit. I taught him for a couple of years. He was a super, super talented kid. He gained about 400 rating points in a span of maybe a little more than a year. He stopped playing because he was not because he didn't like chess, but because he was just too busy with everything else. But he was he was a talented kid. He was a great person. I'll miss him a lot, and I want to look for instructive purposes at one of the last games, last lesson together was 2.5 years ago, September 16th. And this is the last game we played together. This was our last lesson. I'm going to show some instructive moments from this game, and maybe it will serve as commemoration of sorts of what he was or what he could have been. We're not going to look at a full game. We'll pick this game up after the Queen's Watch rated. Let's pick it up around this around this part of the game. So, as you can see, white is a little better, although material is even. Why is white better? Well, white has better development. White can castle on the next move. Black king is still stuck in the middle. So you can try to exploit this king in the second development. And we'll see how it happened. So it's black's move. Black attacked our rook. So if we run away, black has enough time to castle. So instead we checked. So black has a decision to make. Does he block with the bishop? Or does he move the king but then he can't castle? And maybe with the bishop and the other rook coming in, this king gets in trouble. So black blocks. The problem though, black still cannot castle. Because if he does, this is a free bishop. So we played bishop g5. Why? Because now if we take, black would have to take with the pawn. And then black pawns become doubled and isolated. Black cannot take with the bishop because of the pin. Which is why black moves the king. He's walking away from the pin. So now he can take back with the bishop. We castled to bring out the rook, the second rook. Black attacks the bishop. We ran away. Our idea was, from what I remember, to reposition onto this diagonal. Black moves the knight, attacks the rook. We drop the rook back, attacking the knight. And black decides to consolidate the knight on this square. And we complete our development. Again, materially, even but white is doing better. We have good pieces. Black decide to play there, which is probably worse. You don't want to walk into a pin if you don't have to. It would have been better to move the bishop, because now the bishop cannot move, because the rook will be free. So we played here. We created a threat. I'm going to pause and see if you can find it. I hope you were able to spot the fact that this king is overworked. it defends the pawn and the bishop. So if we take the pawn and black takes back, we take the bishop and we up a pawn. So black blocked it. But there is a downside. He creates weaknesses. There are weaknesses on the light squares. So played the knight here with an obvious threat of forking, which black stopped. But now white has an instructive tactic, which wins the game. I hope you'll be able to spot it. And the tactic, I hope you were able to find it, is starts with the rook sacrifice. Rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, and then there is a fork. And we up a piece. If black tries to play knight here to block the knight from coming out, we can just trade it off. It's game over. So I hope you learned something from this. But also, I hope you'll remember this video somehow. Thank you for your attention. I'll be back soon.